Well, hello everybody. This is my final vlog to wrap up a rather exciting journey down the Mississippi River Trail. This will take again a little bit different tone than many of my other vlog episodes. If you remember, those of you who have followed us in St. Louis and in Memphis, I took kind of a serious approach to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. St. Louis, it talked about identity and purpose and disconnect as the first kind of first phase of the renewal process. For those of you who are not caught up, this trip was actually a renewal leave for me. I'm a pastor at Springboro United Methodist Church in Springboro, Ohio, and this renewal leave is a part of what is allowed for clergy to do every 4 to 5 years as a way to kind of refuel themselves. And so that's what this trip was really about for me. So in St. Louis, I did a vlog on purpose and identity and disconnect. When we had a rest day in Memphis, I talked about what I do in terms of when I'm not on renewal leave, how I keep my focus. And you can watch those episodes at your convenience if you decide to do so. I wanted to talk this final vlog about what is next for me in terms of my renewal leave, because my renewal leave, this particular one, is 2 months long, 8 weeks, and the bicycle trip really only entailed half of the leave. So the question might be, well, what do you do next? What do I do in the month of July to continue my leave and my renewal process? So let me talk a little bit about that. So there's different phases of renewal leave as I see it, and everyone has different thoughts on what renewal leave entails. But this is what has worked for me. There's different phases of a renewal leave. The first phase is just to disconnect and just kind of empty yourself from all the noise around you, and that can take some time. It's not just a week or 2 weeks. I've really taken this bicycle trip as a way to just kind of disconnect from everything that I've done or had been doing, or really my whole lifestyle. So for the last month, I've been biking and vlogging and biking and vlogging and biking and vlogging and biking and vlogging from June 5th basically until yesterday. So for a whole month, I've emptied myself from all my activities except for 2 of them, 2 of which I don't do in my normal lifestyle. So I've spent 4 weeks now. I'm going to use the word emptying myself from my role and all that I do from a day-to-day basis. The second part of my renewal leave then is to fill back up, and this is just as important as disconnecting. So one of the things I'll be doing is slowly reconnecting with identity and purpose, a sense of identity, a sense of purpose, in a way that keeps me focused on what I feel called to do, and not what other people feel I'm called to do. And the way I do that is one of the ways I do that is I get back in touch with my roots. So I know the renewal leave I took 5 years ago. I took a trek to my hometown by myself. I think I actually had my bicycle with me, and I just rode around the community in which I grew up in, and just kind of just touch base again with everything I knew in the first 18 years of my life. Went to my home church, attended worship, went to my favorite places: the Ball Diamond, the school, the library, the cemetery, the favorite, bars in town. Went to all the places, rode my bike around town, actually ran into some people I knew, some people who were shocked to see me, visited family. I did all those things. And what it does is it helps me reconnect with where I come from. For me, a sense of purpose is directly connected. Having a sense of purpose is directly connected with knowing who you are. So the first 18 years of my life, of course, is a huge part of how I became who I am. And so reconnecting with that helps me identify, understand how my sense of purpose developed. And so after I empty myself of my role and all my activities, I go back to my roots and I remember why I am the way I am, all the good, bad, and ugly, and start from the ground up, essentially. So I'll do that. I'll go back to my hometown back in Dark County, New Madison area, and just touch base with all that I knew. So that's a big part of it. I think that knowing yourself, it's hard to discern a purpose and identity if you don't know yourself, and that takes a lot of soul searching. It takes a lot of honesty with yourself, and it has to. A big part of it for me is knowing what my worldview is compared to everyone else's worldview. Part of my purpose is pastoring, and pastoring takes a lot of empathy. And to have empathy, you have to recognize or think outside of yourself when you're relating with other people, because other people didn't grow up in New Madison, Ohio. Other people didn't have the same experiences I had, and if I'm going to help them through their stuff, I need to make sure I know my stuff. And so it's a big deal for me to know myself, so that when I'm relating with other people, I don't become too narrow-minded. Keep an open mind. Recognize that other people's worldviews are not the same as mine, and in some cases, they're extremely different. And that needs to be okay. We're going to help people talk through all their stuff. So part of my renewal leave is getting back in touch with my roots, knowing myself, recognizing how I developed as a person, come to an understanding of how my purpose evolved, or my understanding of my purpose evolved. Towards the end of my renewal leave, and I won't do a different vlog on this, but toward the end of my renewal leave, then once I get reconnected with myself and my sense of purpose, then I can start reconnecting with my context. So then I can start thinking in terms of where I'm at, who I'm with, what kind of church am I leading, what kind of people am I helping lead, what is the church's sense of purpose, and how does my sense of purpose fit into the broader context of my vocation. So then I'll start, like the last week or so, maybe the last 2 weeks, I'll start thinking in terms of, okay, here's my purpose. Now how does that help where I'm at in context? That's probably the most difficult thing to do, because then I have to start thinking in terms of how I interact with other people. It's not just about me, it's about other people. So I'll start thinking in terms of the direction that the church is going, how they're going to get there, how do I help them get there, not just what my purpose is, but what's the goals of the church, and start thinking in terms of how to motivate, create incentive for them, be a cheerleader to some extent, educate, inspire, all those kinds of things. So renewal leave is about disconnecting, emptying yourself from your role and activities, and then reconnecting with yourself and your roots, and then reconnecting with the people around you. That makes sense?
Yes.
My wife says it makes sense, so it must make sense. Once you do those three things, once you disconnect, once you reconnect with yourself and your roots, once you reconnect with your context, then what that does is it redevelops or restructures your role and activities. And this is really the final, the rewards of the renewal process is that come 5 or 6 weeks from now, once I go through this process, what I do from day to day then becomes directly connected to purpose, identity, and context. And specifically that and only that. One of the biggest outcomes of a renewal process is that you're spending your time and your energy, 100% of it, at what you feel your purpose is, or what you feel you have been created to do, or I don't know how else to put it. That all my energy, all my words, all my to-do lists, all my meetings, all my conversations is put forward or toward or lived into purpose and identity. When people experience burnout, they experience burnout because they are spending a lot of time and energy doing things that they don't get fulfillment out of. So knowing yourself and reconnecting to your context with purpose helps you direct all your energy in that direction. I hope that made sense. I don't know if that made sense or not. So now what happens then is my activities and my role then may get tweaked, maybe redefined altogether. Who knows? I know after my first renewal leave, once I came back from my renewal leave, I drastically changed what I did day to day and what my priorities were. And my list of things that I felt were most important got shorter. And the things the big list I thought was important, a lot of that list got thrown away. I became much happier, more at peace, better fulfilled because I was doing the things I felt like I should be doing rather than filling my time up with things that in the end, for me, in terms of purpose, didn't matter. One of the things that Kim asked is, how do you know you need a renewal leave? And I think that's important to identify because most people don't identify that very well. My first renewal leave, it was identified for me. A person told me I needed a renewal leave, and so I consented. Is that the right word? Consented?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work. Let's use that word. Unfortunately, people recognize they need a renewal leave too late because they experience discouragement, frustration, anger, disappointment, sometimes sadness, depression, sense of failure. And by that time, you're so empty and so fed up, you're done. And you don't really want to be recharged. If you ever start experiencing symptoms of burnout, where you just feel like you're constantly on empty, then you probably need a renewal leave. Now, I know not everyone can take a renewal leave. I get that. Everyone's context is different. If you have an opportunity to take enough time to disconnect, empty yourself of your activities and your roles, reconnect with your roots, and then start slowly reconnecting to people around you, then do so. It's helped me now twice, and in 5 or 6 years from now, I'll be asking to take another one because it helps. For sure, it helps if you do it right. So I'm going to be a big advocate of this in the days ahead. I'm always encouraging pastors to think in terms of renewal leaves. Burnout is a big issue in the world of the clergy, in any helping profession, and so there's that. So that's all I had. This was a great time, great month. I got another big month ahead. Is there anything I didn't cover? No. If I forget something, my wife will tell me. If she says I don't know, that means I covered everything. So thanks for joining us in this vlog. It's been fun. I don't know if I'll ever do another big bicycle trip like this again.
Maybe not like this, no.
I'm getting older. I don't know. I'm getting older. But for sure, whatever the next renewal leave is, maybe we'll do a vlog, whatever that entails. So I will talk to you later, and thanks for joining us.